Hello everybody, today is Sunday, January 21st, 2018, and I will be working on my Hobonichi cousin with some watercolor. So I'm using the Winsor & Newton travel palette, and I kind of put together a lavender color. So I just got the the bright blue and the red and mixed it together and made a purpley lavender color. And I just wanted a wash of color on the page, so you'll see me move the palette over in a minute and start just, covering the whole page with this light wash of color. I'm trying to learn something new here and learn how to mix the colors that I want from the basic colors I have. Since I don't have a lot of colors, I have to learn to work and mix colors with the ones that I already have. So here I am trying to do that. And I really like the way the color came out. So it takes a little bit of time to cover the page with watercolor, especially when you have a small brush. If I had one of my larger brushes, I'd probably be able to do this in like half the time. But I'm just trying to stick to the little brush I have so I can learn with it and see how much I can do. I'm also thinking of getting one of those water brushes that you fill it up with water and you can take it to go. So if you want to watercolor on the go, I have to find a good one. I have to do some searching on reviews on those. But anyways, I'm finishing up the page here, making sure all the edges are as covered as they can possibly be. And it takes a little bit of time for me to get all through the page and make sure it's completely covered. But I really like the way it turned out at the end because it was just a wash of color. And so here it's dry. It's been drying for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to start stamping with the butterfly set I got from the paper source in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about $30 at the store, but I think you can find it cheaper online if you look it up. I think it was like 20 something dollars on Amazon. It was a gift, so I mean, I'm happy I have it. It's really beautiful. I really enjoy butterflies. So the color, the gold stamp color I have that I'm using there is from my Zaka kit. I'll link the video below so you can see how I got that and where I got that from. It's the Color Kiss Kodomo no Kao. It's a gold, very rich gold. And then the purple and the blue you're going to see, the larger squares, that is from Michaels. And it is, the brand name is, I'm pulling it out of my drawer here, Studio G Pigment Ink, acid free, and it was $1 in the dollar section at Michael's. So I'm really glad I got those because they're very rich colors. The color is very creamy and rich. So when you place it down on the page, you get a really, really crisp image. It takes a little bit to dry, so I wouldn't just stamp and keep going. So I'll just plan ahead for a longer drying time, but you get a really, really crisp image. And here's the blue. It's really like a turquoise blue. It's really, really nice. That was also $1. Same brand. And you just have to take your time when you are filling in the stamp. Just don't stamp the stamp onto the pad. Put the pad onto the stamp. So that way you can get an even color. And you can see how much ink you have on it. That's what I've learned the more that I stamp. When I was a kid, I used to just take the stamp and stamp it on the ink pad and then place it on the paper. And it just doesn't look as crisp and as nice than you grabbing the ink pad and placing the ink on the stamp itself. It's way more efficient that way. So I'm grabbing my Sarasa clip gold and my Sarasa clip lavender to add some dots to the page just to fill in the holes and make it a little bit more complete. I had also done some squiggles on the page prior to stamping. It didn't show as well as I thought it would, so I just kind of like left it there and stamped over it. So you might see like a little squiggle line of gold and lavender on there, but there it is. It's all done. I really like the way it came out. I really like the way the stamps pop on the page with a little bit of wash of color. So it's It's their success on this page. All right, and then we'll be moving on to the Hobonichi Techo, and I'm doing a dark bright blue as my base color, and I really don't like the way the page turned out at the end of this, but I'm just gonna go with it and learn from it, because Hobonichi, you can't just rip out a page and start over. You have to just keep going with what you have. So I'm grabbing more water and spreading the color out onto the page. If I could redo it again, I would choose a baby blue color. I would lighten that blue a lot more and just do like I did with the lavender color, do a baby blue wash of color on the page. And I think it would have been way more successful because the dark color just takes away from, the writing on the page. And I'm grabbing a plastic dropper syringe from Daiso and dropping some water, then filling it in with a little bit of the color from the brush to kind of just make it quicker to spread the color into the page. You can also do that to add a little bit of a bubble effect to the page, which I will try on another page in the future. And you'll see me drop some water drops in a minute, just plain water onto the page to kind of like, lighten it a bit. So I had a lot of color on the page, so it won't really work at this point. But I think if you plan ahead and you did that, it would look really, really good once you had a final product. So here I'm just dropping water droplets. And I'll start mixing it all in. I had way too much color and water on the page at this point, but I was in too deep. And I'll just keep spreading it on the page. So I have my Tombow dual brush pen and I'm just swiggling and doodling on the page. And no rhyme or reason, just kind of going with the flow, seeing whatever I can do that might work. And I'm freezing the frame a bit so you can see the design because it's kind of fast. But like I said, just kind of doodling, just kind of making it work as best as I can. And it definitely would have looked better with a different color, but whatevs. And so then I'm going to grab a plum color from my Marvi Uchida Le Plume 2 brush lettering set. And that plum color is just going to add a little depth to the spaces. So I'm just going to fill in that space with that plum color. It just kind of darkens it. That's really all it does. And then I'm going to do a little bit of squiggling and some leaves pattern just to add a little something. And I think that when I do write on this page, I'm going to have to write with a white gel pen. I'll try that out so you can actually see the letters. I mean, I have inks that would work, but it would just be a really dark page. So I'm going to see if I use a white gel pen, if it pops a lot more. I'll have to test it out and see. So I'm just squiggling about, doing a little bit here, a little bit there. And that's basically everything. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have any requests or any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'm pretty good about responding to comments as soon as I get them. So if you have any question, just ask and I'll shoot you a reply as soon as possible. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.